dynamics. We're going to be looking at, you know, how generational leaders should begin to look at governing their various countries and how they can ensure that they will bring about, you know, some semblance of inclusion. Because you do know that, you know, on the continent, democracy, in the estimation of the people who get the opportunity to lead, is voting for me governing you, me dictating to you, you listening and waiting for the next 4 years or the next 5 years or the next 7 years, depending on where you live. And the cycle continues. There's no real accountability, and that is why today we have sent a petition to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We are still awaiting the response from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. You know, clearly there are some lapses, there's some big lacuna that ought to be plugged, so that in the final analysis we will all benefit from our democracy. Let me quick start the conversation with Mr. Solomon OWUSO, who is a member, in fact a senior member of Movement for Change, and has been very committed to the ideals of the chairmantinology. And clearly 2024 is going to be a very interesting, 7th December is going to be a very interesting, you know, political journey for the Republic of Ghana. So look, good morning again.
Thank you very much.
You see what is happening in Kenya?
Yes, I see it, and I believe it's a positive development for the Gen Z generation and also for Ruto himself, and must be a guiding principle for all other leaders on the African continent. See, what Ruto is doing now tells me that African leaders can act properly, but they deliberately do what they do to impoverish the people. You know very well that you could be going by the Kenyan Airways. Fortunately, you have an airline. What is this big deal of going with a private jet? So if the Gen Z generation are not striking in Kenya, would they have been continuing on the same path? That is why, as young men and women, you must direct your energies into productive ventures. The Gen Z generation in Kenya sacrificed. Some died, more than 39 died. And now the dividends of it is coming. And I've heard him say that he's even going to bring back, you know, they have the Zoom Lion type of the youth employment, to be engaging the young ones in the villages and other places so that they can also live a decent life. And that is what activism does. And not always spending your time on social media watching unnecessary things. We have to put our governments on their toes. What is happening in Kenya, even at the time that the Gen Z generation decided to strike, was far better than what is happening in Ghana. Or what was happening in Ghana. Their economic indicators far better than ours. But they saw the need to strike. We have a country where the president of the land, he does things with impunity and turns around to even insult us. Remember when the president went to the voter during the spillage, the Akosobo spillage? Instead of behaving as a president, what did he go to tell them? That you don't vote for me. So, in other words, he was even telling the people they were lucky to have gotten him there. A chief asked the president, the state started something and putting up a school. Please complete it for our children to have a place to go. He said, if they don't have money, go and complete it. Then he turns around, the president says he does not have money, to go and invest $58 million of our money in digging a hole. That is the sort of president we have here, that the youth of this country are allowing to do everything and anything with impunity. But Ruto must not make it a night-day wonder. You see, there are certain fundamental things that the youth of Africa must demand of their leaders. For instance, how is it that KWAME, our politicians who are entrusted with positions of state, the moment they have headache, a common headache, they catch the next available flight, and if they are not in Paris, they are in UK. If they are not in UK, they are in Dubai. If they are not in Dubai, they are in New York. If they are not in New York, and we are even lucky for them to visit any of the African hospitals, then they go to South Africa. You have the Minister of Health and his people. When they are sick, those that are supposed to manage our health institutions properly for all of us to have a decent health care, they attend hospitals outside the country. For me, that must agitate the minds of the youth. That why is it that you as a youth, when you are sick and you are in Accra, you look at Kolebu, but the person that you are paying, you are put in charge of all this to make sure that the healthcare facilities run perfectly, he does not attend your hospitals. The same case with our educational system. People in authority, they don't send their wards to the secondary schools in this country. They will never do that. They send their wards to the 18 colleges, all the bourgeoisie institutions outside the source of this country, and they give us bogus educational system. So that the whole idea is that it's a poverty cycle. Your children are going to be educated better outside the country. They will go and come and lead you. And so if you look at the leadership of the country, check those that are leading. One way or the other, their forebears or their fathers were leading this country in the past. Gave them the education and stole our money to keep for them so that they will continue to lead you. And that is where the people must begin to look at how politicians behave.
Let's look at the subject matter in two contexts. What is leadership to you, first of all? And why do you think that we, as Ghanaians, have not been able to demand proper accountability from our leaders? So, two fronts. What is leadership, especially within the Ghanaian context? And then why have we not also been able to elicit the right accountability from our leaders?
I mean, for me, leadership is to solve problems. If we are saying that we have a problem with our educational sector, it's not going, or the kind of result that we are looking for, we are not getting it. If you come and lead me, all that I'm looking for is that leader is able to deal with the problems confronting the educational sector. We have indiscipline in society. That leader must be able to enforce the laws of the land. That is leadership. Leading us into a path of prosperity. But if you come and you are the one in front, leadership is being in front. You see, when you are in front, you see better than all of us behind. So if you are in front and you know that when we pass this road or use this road, we are going to face accident, and you still lead us to that road, that means you are not a leader. You understand? The reason why we are unable to solve the problems we have with the kind of leadership we have is that our leaders have lost control or focus on why they even come in the first place to lead us. When they come, instead of sacrificing, they want to enjoy the largesse of the office. And the moment you lose focus on that, Kwame, you are doomed. Because there are several benefits that goes with the office. It takes people with that sacrificial mindset to deny themselves of all the benefits of the office and think about the ordinary man. You take Kwame Nkrumah as an example. We are talking about someone who died about 60-something years ago, or if my mathematics is right. Yet we cannot pinpoint a single property in this country in his name. That is leadership. He denied himself the benefit of acquiring assets whilst in office, but taking into consideration the needs of the poor. So what did he do? He was creating what we call public interest, building the factories, so that you and I, the ordinary men, will have a place to work, building housing for the ordinary people to have a place to sleep, getting the educational infrastructure. Look at the number of secondary schools that were built for the young ones or the ordinary people to be educated, building the road network, so that when you are going to school or going to work, you will not be plying on the bumpy road. Comfort, building the health needs of the country. That is leadership. Now you are talking about the current crop of people we call, I don't see them as leaders. They come and the first thing they are looking out to is how to get the juicy contracts for us in government. We can count the number of skyscrapers in this country currently that belongs to politicians, either the president or his appointees. So such a person, did he come to lead you into prosperity, or he came to steal from you? That is where we have missed the point. We have been discussing, and I know it's the next topic, Galamsey.
Yeah, we're going to go there. But the second leg of my question to you was why we have been unable to demand real accountability from the people that we've put into positions of power.
You see,
because you see, leadership is in two fronts.
Yes.
Service.
Yes.
Accountability.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about, I mean, of course, you've looked at the lack of service, particularly in our Ghanaian political dispensation. Let's look at the issue of lack of accountability and why we have not been able to do that as a people. You know, because I do recall, and I don't know whether it is something that is only akin to the Akufo-Addo administration, which is why people have resigned themselves to, you know, sitting in their comfort zones and not demanding proper accountability from government. Because I do recall that you remember that during Mohammed's administration, we had a lot of people who were agitating by reason of the doomsday that we were experiencing at the time. And the president was forced to making promises. In fact, the power minister at the time, Kwabena Dufo, made a solemn promise to the good people of Ghana that he was going to solve it within a specified period of time, failure of which he was going to resign. And indeed, he resigned when he didn't meet you know, the timeline. But you know, in this administration, there are so many plethora of nerve-wracking solutions that have engulfed this particular administration, and yet somehow we are sitting unconcerned and not demanding the right accountability from the people. So look,
Kwame, I mean, if you look at it from this way clearly, it tells you that our political class has been compromised. You see, that's the first point of call from both the opposition and within. I'm not even going to take up or take the ruling party on. I am going to take on the opposition party, that they have let this country down.
How so?
You have a country where, as we speak, fortunately, the Ghanaian looked at all the semantics around politics and said that in election 2020, we were going to give this country equal representation in parliament.
Indeed. The first time.
The first time. You see, the Ghanaian, when people say the Ghanaian is not smart, I always shudder to disagree. To agree, let me put it that way. The Ghanaian looked at the political environment. They said, NDC, MPP, all of you are saying that you want to build a prosperous and a better Ghana. Is that not the case? Thirdly, we want to give you equal representation in parliament. Go and use the knowledge that you have to build a better Ghana. Give us equal representation 137, 137. Now, you were expecting the opposition to behave in a manner that will put this president on his toes. In any case, there is ample evidence that with the right set of persuasive skill, the opposition could win. That is how come we have a Speaker of Parliament in the person of Bagbin, who is an NDC member, yet won in a parliament that had more of the people in government. Here we are, we petition Parliament that, look, someone like Kenofurata does not deserve to be the finance committee chairman of even my early primary. He is just there to plunder state resources. Do not pass him. What did this opposition do? They allowed this man to travel to the US and gave us a timeline that he will come and face Parliament. He was passed. Look at the amount of corruption we witness daily. And mind you, the opposition has a lot of people following them. That every day we must be on the street, on the neck of this president to force him to do the right thing. What do we do? Everyone is okay with what he's doing.
Yeah, but if the opposition is failing to bring that accountability to government, what are we the citizens doing?
So the citizens,
because I do recall that, you know, when we're experiencing the doomsday, the vigil was organized by a citizen of this country. But you see,
one day, the same vigil has been organized this time, you know that?
Well, but the impact was...
because in opposition. And mind you, I've been a member of the MPP before.
Tell me.
When the lady decided to do that vigil, the firepower or the backbone of that vigil came from the MPP.
Yeah.
How many people did?
Is the media complicit in this?
No, as for the media, I don't
see,
go there.
let's face it, Solo, and I'll be coming to you very shortly, Honorable Tim. The media has not really provided that support.
Yes.
And let me rather use enabling support to the minority and to the good people of this country, particularly because, you know, MPP is known to have aligned with a lot of these media houses. And so whenever they do something, they are able to get, you know, that support from a lot of the media houses. On the contrary, the NDC, and that they've been accused for that they've not really empowered a lot of the media houses, and so it is practically impossible to use mediums that have been created by the MPP to propagate the agenda of the NDC, even if they have a message to put out.
I disagree. You know why?
Tell me.
Because one of the reasons why independent candidates have been struggling to win elections in this country is that our media landscape is owned by either people affiliated to the NDC.
Yeah, but it's precisely what we're talking about.
I'm coming. Yeah. And only few stations are as neutral as yours. The problem with the opposition, why they think their messages are not going that far, is that instead of building stations that are affiliated to their cause,
or that are neutral,
they rather want to go to stations that are controlled by the New Patriotic Party. They go and pay them to propagate their message. So where they are needed most, where these people are, these media houses or the parties need these people to fight for them, then their paymasters say, hey, what are you doing?
Yo, shut up,
and then let's continue with our business. No, there are certain platforms, Movement for Change, Allah's message, they deliberately blacken it out.
I know.
Because they know that once that message is spoken on those platforms, about half of the members who are used to a certain line of thinking will immediately leave their party.
Right.
So it is for the opposition. But I am very disappointed in this current opposition. I'm telling you.
Tell me.
In all fairness.
Tell me.
That you had Brian a champion that led a crusade to, as it were, beat non-NDC supporters at what's the name? Ayawaso West. Then when it was time for him to meet or face the vetting committee, the NDC passed him. In fact, he had the highest number of votes than people that were innocent.
Yeah.
So when it happens like that, then would you be able to convince me that the opposition has not had the sort of assistance that they need? They have it. They can do anything. Just that the firepower, can you imagine if the NDC was in power? And with all these economic indicators, I tell you, like John Mahama will not sleep a day from LBP members. But there's one people.
Oh, he's snoring.
He's sleeping. The vice who is supposed to manage the economy has the time to even be dancing. Have you heard or seen any person that does not have peace of mind that will be dancing like that? They have peace of mind. They have peace of mind.
Listen.
And my brother Tim here, he will speak and they will not listen. They don't listen to you. You have to him alone. Always is at the Flagstaff House. Look, this what is happening. What happened in Kenya?
Yeah.
With the Gen Z. It started in Ghana first. Fix the Country movement on Twitter. Twitter was at war with Fix the Country. The youth were ready to take on this government. Then we had this what's the name? Oliver Baker leading it. Where did he lead us to? He scattered everything. It took pensioners, you know, when the pensioners went to pick it at the Ministry of...
Just picture this, that Mahama is in power.
And then pensioners...
Then you have pensioners picketing.
Hey! And see, pensioners, and these are not just ordinary pensioners. You are talking about the former Chief Justice.
Yeah, just imagine.
Imagine the headlines. But we have had all these.
Yeah.
There has not been a single
proper accountability. Imagine PDS. Imagine Kelly GVG.
Imagine SML.
Imagine Boss Scandal. Imagine SML.
Imagine the Sicily Abradapa.
Hey!
This one, can you sleep?
Like NDC will not sleep.
Don't will run away.
But you see,
but it has happened. But the president is feeling good about it.
Anyway, but imagine the $245 million petition that we sent to
see, $15 million on food. $15 million on food.
And we are sitting down.
Nobody is talking.
Good morning to you, Dr. Marzouk, our governance expert. How are you, sir?
I'm well, sir.
Fantastic. You look good.
Thank you.
You look good.
I look African.
You look good.
Yeah. Today you are about to.
Are you trying to shade me? Are you trying to shade me?
No, I've been No, I'm not trying to shame.
Okay.
You know, when you look good, you look African.
Yes.
Everything good is African.
Yes.
Everything African is good. Anyway, my father, Sampi Ali, my special greetings to him. He has advised me to always look African rather than Western.
Even the Western costumes were made with African cotton. Tim, we've looked at this Kenya situation. I don't want us to belabor the Kenya situation. I think we should, because akin to a lot of the things that are happening in Ghana, which we have been deaf to, and it is important that we resuscitate those matters and re-engineer some. I don't know how we are going to do it, but some, strategy that will enable us to address these teething problems we are confronted with. And I'm on record. I mean, sometimes I feel very melancholic, about how we treat our people, our own people in this country, because I believe that it is not, all of us cannot get the opportunity to govern this country. We have to elect somebody to take us to the promised land, and we elect that. When we elect that somebody, it is clear that we give the person so much confidence. We put our everything. It's like when you have a father, you expect the father to do a lot of the things that you cannot do for yourself for you. And when you have an irresponsible father, it creates a lot of problems. An irresponsible father would definitely lead to an irresponsible child. And so a lot of the young people who are on the streets, who are doing hookup, who are doing fraud, who are doing galamsey, who are doing all these things, is because we do not have a leader who is like a father, who has your needs and your aspirations at heart, who would want to, create a path of prosperity for you. And for me, that is very crucial. But what is even more crucial for me is our inability as a younger generation not to be able to demand proper accountability, to put the feet of government to the fire of responsibility. We have not been able to do that. It appears we've just resolved, and we are just watching unconcerned for all of these things to happen, and there's no real accountability. Nobody is demanding proper accountability from this government. And when you start, then you would have your own people around you saying, Charlie, Kwame, I beg you, Charlie, these people, oh, Charlie, they will kill you. Oh, Kwame, Charlie, you just do your corner, Kwame. And that is what is happening. Tim.
Yeah, Kwame, good morning.
Solo blames your party, and I blame your party too.
And let me say good morning to Dr. Maruzuk. It's been a long time we met on this platform. And, I think that
you exchanged the pleasantries after the show. Yes. I asked a question.
Yeah, but I'm coming.
No. I didn't know Master.
I'm coming.
No, the love they will know. Don't we all have laughter? Let's I've asked you a question.
So I cannot but agree with some aspects of your questions.
But disagree with the NDC one.
And then come to Solo, I agree with most of the issues he raised.
Yes, sir.
Particularly when it has to do with the soul of this country, when it has to do with the spirit of the country. I absolutely agree with him on some of the observations he has made in terms of even our posture. But Solo, you don't agree with me that we've done what we can as an opposition party. We've worked so hard in the midst of a lot of challenges, where a media that is supposed to be the fourth estate of the realm, no matter whose oars is God, they are supposed to police both the opposition and the ruling government. Kwame, what is the age of Ruto? What's the age of Akufo-Addo? What's the age of Tinubu? Do we need to tell them what to do? Kwame, do we need to tell these octogenarians what to do? Can we be teaching them? Maybe they have a well-rehearsed agenda, and they came to power with that well-rehearsed agenda to implement policies that they did not tell the people candidly when they were campaigning that if you vote me, I'm coming to loot the state coffers. In any case, just suppose what is happening today with the colonization of Africa, which is better. Even the British did better. They left forest reserve for us. We are mining the forest reserve. They didn't touch our waters.
We'll go to the mining. I've asked you a specific question.
Let's
stay on that. No, because the mining is a different topic. I want us to exert all our energy.
I'll come to the mining.
I've asked you a specific question.
No, listen to me, Kwame. Yeah. You see, I am coming to the fact that what is the difference between the colonization of Africa by the whites or the Europeans versus our own people who have colonized and annexed our resources to themselves. It is painful, Kwame, for your brother to treat you like an unknown fellow, to treat you badly. The colonial government came to exploit us. Today, as we sit, the issue that led to the Kenya and the Gen Zs is frustration by the youth, joblessness, hopelessness. The future is bleak and they have to take their destiny into their own hands by attacking or mobilizing to resist the oppressor's rule. People come under the guise of democracy, and when they come, they practice what we call anocracy. And anocracy, you know, is just a blend between autocracy and democracy. So people like Ruto, Akufo-Addo, they came and they are practicing what we call anocracy. It's not democracy. They have expropriated state resources, appropriated them to themselves. As we talked this morning, the deaths that occurred in Kenya, needless deaths, they wouldn't have happened if they were embarking on good governance. The deaths that occurred in this country, the 8 people who died during an election for this president to be there, wouldn't have occurred if we had practiced what we call democracy and its principles and so on. Today, there's joblessness in this country. Multidimensional poverty tells us that even people in Kumasi, where the elephant belly is, and they gave up more than 1.5 million voters to them, the heaviest burden of multidimensional poverty, as released by Statistical Survey, is Kumasi and across the country. 1.8 million youth cannot get employment. Poor policies have yanked people into abject poverty, 850. The World Health Organization tells that 2.4 million people have gone mad in this country because of various economic issues. How do you govern a country like that? You came, the economy is in junk, your city is run helter-skelter. Petrol prices, every macroeconomic stability that you met has completely been run down. Yet this country, this government wants us to hand over to a reckless driver's mate to continue to lead us into a path of no hope. So for me, what happened there is akin to what is happening here, like my brother enumerated this morning. But how do we hold, I'm coming to your question, our people responsible and accountable is the real issue. I keep saying this thing, not because I'm an NDC. If voters begin to hold non-performing governments to the fire of accountability and responsibility, what will happen with that? Rulers or politicians would always be cautious that, Charlie, this is what led to removing a particular government. That is why we have talked in our manifesto about the fact we are resetting this country, just accountability and prosperity. And we are going to conduct forensic audit into every iota of item a finger touched under this government. We have to reset the government. We must give hope to the people of this country. We must give hope to the teeming youth. I have kids, you have kids, we all have kids. What is their future? Our security forces have been choked with unqualified and partisan people by this government. We've seen them, reports, Ayawaso West reports, and so on. What is happening in Kenya is an embarrassment. Like Solo said, even what happened at the Gen Z's rose in Kenya, it's a tip of the iceberg here. The economy is not junk. Unemployment of 14.8% is not so in Kenya. Name them. The corruption, Auditor General report in this country.
14.47.
14.47.
Yes, it's 6%.
You understand? Inflation. What is the petrol price in Kenya? What is the inflation rate in Kenya? What is the Kenya shilling? Is they calling shillings or something? Yeah. To the dollar. Is there? Can they go out to borrow? We cannot borrow $1 from any place across. Like he said this morning, pensioners are crying. Pensioners are dying. People who worked in the banking sector, everything has been collapsed. As I talked to you this morning, no bank gives loan to any businessman in this country.
But your policy rate is 29%. How can anybody even borrow?
And even the money is not there.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I had a young man who had worked with Eurojet. Do you know what is happening? The Sewa Hospital, do you know why it has not been commissioned up to today? Extension of electricity just to the place. The guy told me they finished everything. They are using generators to keep the equipment working until it is commissioned. The president told the Minister for Energy to extend it up to today. And that minister is still Minister for Energy. He has now been he's now a running mate to do access roads. And you know what the guy told me? That the projects were signed in October 2008 by Kufuor. The lands were not acquired. Everything was done by the NDC for these people to do it. 9 hospitals. And you are embarking on Agenda 111.
Do you think the Ghanaian is timid?
Because
you see, all that you have said, you've pointed out the issues known to us.
Yeah, yes.
And we know.
Yeah.
But do you think that the Ghanaian is so timid as to demand, you know, government to do what is right, what is needful? Do you think we are timid? Do you think that we are just too comfortable and waiting for the 4 years? Because I've engaged people. Look, and this is what you're talking about. It is important for your party to make sure that the message that you're preaching here this morning gets down to the very last person in Achimasafo, in Asante Mampong.
I agree.
Because recently I went to the fuel pump to buy fuel, okay? And then, you know, we're just having a general conversation. Then one of these fuel attendants, you know, joined in and said, yeah, but even if the dollar to a CD is 16, what's the percentage? I said,
when you were buying percentages? You should have asked him that when you were buying.
No. I did not want to engage because certainly such people, they have this rigid mental set about. But the point is that, you see, even if somebody has a rigid mental set, your ability to explain in great detail what the real situation is will be able to change that person's perception about what is happening today. Is your party doing that? Is your party your party is engaged in rhetorics and platitudes?
I can tell you we are doing it. But you see, I think my friend this morning hit the issue. Then you see, the education of good governance and bad governance should not be left to only the opposition. We have a responsibility, both in terms of our religious bodies who were loud yesterday, both in terms of CSOs who held us to the fire of accountability yesterday, in terms of all the other political parties put together. We are all in opposition.
You see, you are deceiving yourself. No. Let's stay here. You are deceiving yourself. You and I know that is not going to be possible. You know, I know. So why are you still relying on persons who have openly demonstrated to you that? Yes, they won't do it. So if they won't do it, what is your strategy?
We are doing
How are you doing it?
And what we've deployed our communicators across the country. They are doing it from constituency to constituency. You know, we know what is going around. We know those who ought to talk, who are not talking. Those who ought to say and give fire. We have done what? Look, you will tell me, and we are all here, let us be honest, that our opposition party, we may have our shortfalls and so on. We've done what we can do in our capacities. By our vigilance, we've stopped a lot of contractual procurements. Breaches, we brought them to light. We've done that. Look at the ambulance cases involving the president's daughter.
$34 million.
$34 million.
Finally with you.
Yeah.
Finally with you.
Yeah.
Solo alludes.
Yeah.
And I do too.
Yeah.
That it appears that the minority leadership, if I say the minority leadership, I'm talking about your party leadership and that of parliament, have been compromised.
Yeah.
And so it is practically impossible for them to bring a lot of the issues to the fore for genuine conversations to be had. No. It's not a laughing matter. Because you see,
laughing has become a crime now. Mensa did at the electoral
Yes, it's a crime. It's a crime on this show.
It's not a crime.
It's a crime on this show.
I know what I'm laughing about.
Now you've got
I know what I'm laughing about because if you look at
the
workings in parliament, you may say so depending from the angle at which you are looking at.
No, the angle is clear. I mean, the angle is what you pointed out. The angle is that the angle is that there was a lot of opposition to the appointment of Ken Ofori-Atta.
I agree.
Even within his own party.
Yes.
The angle is that Brian Champon, who superintended over this Ayawaso chaos, was before Parliament and had the highest vote. The angle is that Howard Kumsen got the highest vote. The angle is that on all fronts, at all levels, the opposition has not demonstrated true patriotism. Because you see, if you had opposed some of the things that we are talking about, the ordinary Ghanaian will have so much confidence to say that, oh, then it means that when we even organize demonstrations, we will get the maximum support of the opposition in that regard. You failed us.
You see.
You failed us.
Listen to me. We have 3 arms of government.
Yeah.
The media is the 4th estate of the rest. Sometimes when we articulate our issues forcefully on the floor of Parliament, we've challenged most of the decisions in the Supreme Court. What did the Supreme Court come out to tell us? You saw our people fighting fiscal exchanges. You saw the army being brought to the floor of Parliament.
I agree.
You understand all this? When we do that, there's an aspect that these appointees who were vetted were not supposed to have been approved by their conduct and their stewardship. It is a clear case for which I cannot say that they did better. But one thing is clear, that our people stood against it and so on. We have held
stood against what exactly?
Stood against the appointment. But whatever that went,
who?
Appointment of all those ministers you mentioned. You saw the vetting. Didn't you see the vetting?
So the vetting
I'm coming. If you allow me to land.
Please land.
They did all they could. It came to the voting. And voting is by secret what do you call
ballot.
it? Ballot.
Yeah.
And you cannot hold individually what do you call it? You cannot foresee what you drop there.
Were you disappointed?
I was personally not happy.
Yeah.
I was personally not happy. But I know, as a former member of Parliament, what goes on there. It's not the mere issues that you and I see. There's a lot of lobbying and negotiations behind the scenes, for which even floor members might not even have the chance to know exactly what is happening. I was disappointed, just like a lot of you, and even our foot soldiers. You saw it. You saw that our foot soldiers across the country were disappointed. We have learned our lessons from that going forward. If we voted for them, not in what you are saying, not in the interest of the people, but I think they've come to prove that the voice of the people is the voice of God, and what the people stood against it's really happened, because they've proven to be bad in terms of even pushing them through. Finally, the finance minister, whom even the majority leader said that all the other MPs, including the sitting members of including MP before, were against him, equally fell in line and voted for them massively.
All right.
I agree that these things went wrong. It didn't go the way we wanted as
it's not the way I wanted, the way
the way we wanted as a people. But I think that beyond that, we also held them by the vigilance of our people. A lot of public purse, a lot of wanton dissipation of public funds have been stopped, even through Auditor General report. You see now we've monitored them from each aspect. So at least we might have not done what the public expected, but we would have fought and done well. You know what is happening today.
In the American elections, finally, before I come to Dr. Mazik, in the American elections, you know that a lot of money is sunk into marketing of the political candidate, billions of dollars. And now they're using AI generated media, channels and things like that just to promote. Mahama is really campaigning. I must admit, right? He's in every nook and cranny of this country. He's really campaigning. But same cannot be said, in my respectful opinion, of some of the other people who are popular in your party, who can use their popularity to promote the workings of Bahama. When I turn on social media, I'm expecting to see those people post Mahama, post his videos, post the things that he's doing. On the contrary, they post themselves and post quotes from the Bible and things like. I mean, that for me crucial. We have how many days to the elections?
We have just about 88 or 89 days.
Few days to the elections.
Less than 3
And you would expect. And in 2016, I had this argument with my father-in-law, and in the beginning he didn't understand me, and later I got to understand me. I said, look, the MPP won the elections on social media. You remember? The MPP won the 2016 elections on social media because they managed, and similar, and even Trump also won his elections on Twitter, because they were able to shape public opinion. Can you confidently say same for your party in 2020, where now there's even introduction of AI, which could potentially change the dynamics of our elections? Okay, so now you understand what I'm saying.
I understand.
Your people who are very popular within the party, not using their platforms to promote your flag bearer enough. Okay, and the usage of social media and AI generated activities to also augment the things that John Dramani Mahama is doing on the field. Why are you guys not doing that?
Yeah, I think it's an important observation for which we can't run away from, because it's an era of IT technology, and most things are done on social media, like you rightly pointed out. And I think that we have been meeting on that subject. We are doing the promotion. Like you rightly said, John Mahama has done well this time in his campaign.
He's doing well.
Even from the time he has been elected as the flag bearer, he did a lot of social media engagement. He did a lot. And he's continued to do it. He has not even slept. Last year, I remember that even in December, he was in Tamale and so on. So what you have observed is, okay, we have all observed a lot of these challenges, and all communicators, but it should not only be communicated, but even individual, you consider them to be very popular. They matter, they carry weight. They should also be now active in the media, because we're left with barely 3 months to an election. So, and 3 months to an election is a very long time to come. And
it's the most crucial.
It's the most crucial, very, very crucial.
It's like when you're preparing for exams. You will study. All the things you would have studied like 6 months ago will not matter. 3 months, when you sit, those are the ones you remember.
Yes, and we would call on everybody using your platform, your concern this morning, whosoever that has access. Maybe we those who are not savvy to technology. You have your younger ones or your children who are. You can be directing them to handle your social media platform, and together we would all come as a one unit, because we cannot go to these elections with anyone left behind. We have to mobilize everybody, and especially the youth. And the youth listen to most of these popular names that you have mentioned. So we would want to see them do much more better than they are, to complement the work that the flag bearer is doing.
Let me remind you that you're still watching the News 5 segment here on Pan-African Television. My name is KWAME, OWUSO. So Dr. Marzouk is here. Doc, you are a political analyst and a governance expert. I mean, for all these years, we've had very deep conversations about, you know, the journey, our political journey as a nation. And of course, we are looking at the Kenyan situation, but we are also trying to look at it from a pari passu perspective, where we're trying to, you know, look at the issues in Kenya, whether it's pari materia with the issues in Ghana. And clearly, it's demonstrable that the issues that we are experiencing in Kenya are not different from that which we are experiencing in Ghana. But the actions of the people in Kenya have been different from the actions of the people in Ghana. Reprehensible is the ineffectiveness of the minority in parliament and its actions against the things that we are opposed to. You know, so let's look at it from that perspective, and give us your, you know, of course you always do that, give us your candid opinion on what has gone wrong, why we have not been able to put the feet of this particular administration to the fire of proper responsibility and accountability, and what we can do between now and December 7th to ensure that, you know, we at least, at the very least, try and bring most of these issues to the forefront so we can have a better frank discussion about the way forward for this country.
Good morning to the cherished viewers of ours, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you for a very well couched question. I'm so much happy about that.
Thank you.
This should be a topic for somebody's dissertation, and I think if we are serious about actualizing academic publications, we should consider this topic as one.
I'll use it as my PhD thesis. So I'll consult you.
You see, first of all, I agree with you that NDC is blamable. But let me add humbly that NDC cannot be blamed in isolation. Let me also add that perhaps our expectations from the NDC are higher, but so far NDC has done its own part. All that you have said is about the general malaise of democratic politics in this country. One, politics over politics. Two, partisanship over patriotism. Three, impunity over accountability. These are the reasons for which you see that people are suffering. It is important, of course, you and I have said it on so many occasions. With the NDC, let me join you to blame the NDC, and then perhaps we can move from the NDC to the national level. the whole country expected the NDC minority in parliament to be the savior of Ghanaians in the Fourth Republic because of the nature of the parliament, hung parliament. But when we all expected the NDC to perform in terms of appointment, vetting, parliamentary approval, in terms of saving the nation from toxic policies, in terms of saving the nation from looting of the state by state agents, the NDC failed us. First of all, we all know that without the NDC, most of these appointees that Ghanaians opposed but were appointed against the will of Ghanaians wouldn't have been given the opportunity. And this is sat down unconcerned for those people. At best, they only showcase some antics, as if, yes, gymnastics. And then at the end of the day, they gave in. We heard, and I don't want to, I don't know the truth of it, but the allegation was so high, and no one came to deny it, that some of them were even bribed.
There are MPs that...
You understand that? They were bribed.
As they took bribe.
So over there, they let us down. Right? Then we came to civil society institutions.
Right.
You know, most of the civil society institutions in this country are doing well. Others too are not doing well. But a friend of mine says that in Ghana, we have think tanks. No, in other parts of the world, we have think tanks. But in Ghana, we have the tanks, but there's no think. You know, when you have the tanks and you don't have the think, it becomes a problem. Because in a situation where almost all, I'm not saying all, but almost all the civil society organizations are rightly branded or wrongly branded to be loyalists of certain political traditions, either rightly or wrongly. And sometimes they themselves will create the perception. And one thing dangerous about perception is that it needn't be true. Once it is perceptive, it becomes very destructive. So even if you are not a loyalist of a political party, don't create that perception. And of course, the perception can only be created in the way you handle governance and political affairs. So that is another problem. In fact, let me borrow your word without any fear of plagiarism. Let me borrow your word of timidity. That is the last thing that also defines the defective democratic politics in this country. Timidity over bravery. And that one is not about NDC, it's about the whole country. You've just used that word, and I agree with you. It's timidity over bravery. Then we come to the whole nation. Let me give you a candid opinion. You've asked me to give you a candid opinion. Please. Look, no nation can pursue any meaningful democracy without peace. And election has always been the soul of democratic governance. The oxygen that nourishes that soul is the Electoral Commission, because it is the Electoral Commission that will conduct itself in a way that will lead to the will of the people. You agree with me that most of the horrific types of violence in the Fourth Republic have been election related. In fact, if they are related to politics, they have been election related. People think that the Tachiman killing is the first killing in this. No, it is not. If my memory serves me right, that time I was young. I was a young journalist. The first political killing that shook the nation took place in Takoradi. That Alaji, he was burned to death. Just simply because he was an NDC supporter. He was burned to death. I don't think anything happened. Nothing happened. Then another high-profile political killing took place during when Professor Jonathan Mills just won the elections. There were members of MPP who were gruesomely murdered in the presence of police at Agboboloshi. Nothing happened.
True.
Nothing. Today people talk about Tachiman. I talk about Tachiman. I talk about OWUSO, but I also refer to the Agbogbolo killings. Nothing happened. So over there, we jumped. You know what I'm telling you? That because we have this is part of the general political malaise. Because we have corrosive politics, we cannot even have independent civil institutions or state institutions that can do their work. So from there, the police couldn't do anything at Agbogbolo killings. In fact, they couldn't even save the people. They were murdered in front of the police. The police couldn't do anything. Attorney General couldn't investigate the issue. Nothing happened. The judiciary didn't do anything. Parliament didn't do anything. Civil society didn't do anything. We ourselves, we did nothing. That is a classic case of timidity over bravery. Then, after that, the Chiman killing. Just imagine. You have been watching my status.
Yeah, I have.
I have been talking about these killings and OWUSO barbarity. No one, not even the IGP, can tell us, even if it is something that is under investigation. IGP, because I assume that it should be investigated. That is my assumption. So IGP can update us on the investigation. Attorney General should show interest, because this is about state. It's not about NDC, not about MPP. It is about the state. None of them did that. The president didn't say anything. The Speaker of Parliament didn't say anything. Nothing happened. Nothing. Look, it doesn't matter. The Fourth Republican Constitution makes it clear, I think Article 1, in one of the subsections, that every Ghanaian has the right to belong to the political party of their choice. So it is not a crime to belong to NDC, not a crime to belong to MPP. These are our brothers and sisters who have been subjected to brutality with impunity, and no one is saying anything. So, you see, it is not about NDC alone. Now we have come. We don't know what MPP and NDC have planned. All that we know is that they have both decided to resist. But what defines that resistance, we do not know. All right, so it is there. So when you talk of the, I mean, when you mention all these things, you cannot at all end at the level of NDC. You will need to go beyond the NDC to the whole state. The NDC hasn't been functional enough in terms of real opposition. The country itself has been reduced to a dirty corner of timidity. We are all quiet, and those of us who talk, the few of us who talk, are branded Confucianists. That's how we are branded. Right? But that should be part of democracy.
Naysayers.
Naysayers.
And Jeremiah.
Yes. You understand that? So, permit me to say. Yes. Permit me to say. You sit down here, immediately after the program, somebody calls you. Oh, Dr. Marzu, if what you are saying, you are not afraid, right? Please, you have to calm down. I said, what did I say? One, I'm not a politician. I'm just analyzing the issues. And it is my democratic responsibility to analyze issues. When NDC does anything good, I say it. If MPP does anything good, I say it. If any of them does anything bad, I say it. So what's wrong with that? I don't think there's any, I haven't done anything. So we come to from the violence aspect.
We can conclude on that for me, research, please.
All right. Because
your analysis is so nice, but time. Yeah, and I'm sure the next topic that I'm going to introduce, you'll get the opportunity to even rope in some of the things.
All right. Yeah. So at the end of the day, let me now give you the solutions.
Right.
Because I've discussed the factors and then the issues. Let me give you the solutions. The solution, number one, let NDC and MPP members understand that their political parties are not the end. They are means to the end. These political parties have been designed to engage in democratic politics, but that democratic politics should be in the supreme interest of the state. So let them conduct themselves in a very peaceful manner. Right. That's the final one. Let all Ghanaians, irrespective of their political affiliations, rise against anything by any politician or any government. By any politician or any government to dupe this state. It is our responsibility to rise to the occasion.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maruzu. Brilliant submission, as always. My name again is KWAME Usudaso, and this is the newspaper of this segment. Yes, we're discussing Kenya, but we thought that there's something which is pari materia with the situation in Ghana, and we needed to bring the discussions home so we can draw some important lessons from it. Now, though, I have decided to introduce another topic which I think is very fundamental to the democracy that we are experiencing, and that has got to do with the 2024 elections. Election 2024, the EC has an important role in promoting democracy. That's my topic, and this topic is born out of the discussions that we've had, and it is important that we continuously, without fail, discuss all of these issues that will culminatively lead to a successful election and the promotion or prosecuting or the prosecution of our democratic experiment. Let me start with you respectfully, Honorable Tim. But before that, let me remind viewers that we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. Please be kind enough to share the feed so others can get the opportunity to watch. Also, if you want to send us a message, you can do so by sending us a message through our WhatsApp and text number. It's the same thing. So just text or WhatsApp, and then I'll read them here. Honorable Tim.
Yeah.
Election 2024, the EC has an important role in promoting democracy.
Yes, very important role, because it's a body that has been constitutionally mandated to conduct any aspect of an election, from the processes to its final end of the voting. So that is why they are an institution that has been insulated, quote unquote, from political interferences and so on. Their budgets are given to enable them conduct a free and a fair election, so that at the end of the day we have peace in this country. Like you talked about peace. What are we seeing? We've seen the history of the Electoral Commission in this country that has been manned by other officers before G. Mensah came. And we know, as we sit today, that under her stewardship a lot of issues have gone wrong. And we've been calling on the Electoral Commission to rectify these things to the satisfaction of everybody involved in this year's general election, because our history tells us that this Electoral Commission in particular announced the 2020 elections 6 times, not 5 times. People have been saying 4, 5, it's 6 times. And the one who finally announced it, Sylvia Ano, was not constitutionally clothed enough with the responsibility to announce the presidential election, did so, and she was appointed as an ambassador to one of the countries immediately after that. As we talk this morning, the Electoral Commission is packed with MPP card-bearing members. The MPP's credibility is in tatters. We don't trust G. Mensah and his officers who are to conduct these elections. During the registration, before and after, up to the point of the exhibition, our party has identified a lot of challenges. The illegal transfer of voters and so on, as accepted by the EC themselves, and as a result, they had to suspend or sack the electoral officer for Pusiga, which is there. We have told them the last time we were to meet them by our IT director and those in charge of the elections, we said we needed a public broadcast of the system for everybody to see, because we have impeccable evidence. We adduce evidence to show that the Electoral Commission is fraught with a lot of names that are not supposed to be there, thousands of those names, and we want a forensic audit. And remember that these elections are not only sponsored by the taxpayers' money. Our development partners are also part of it. They take part in the sponsorship of elections in this country. So for us to have a free and fair elections, we are demanding unequivocally and undoubtedly a forensic audit into it. In any case, it is a public document. I don't see why a public officer responsible to execute his functions without fear or favor would resist a public audit of a document that is not yours. It's not a private document. It's for the people of this country. Another political, a very major political party is asking for this, even if it is the smallest fellow, even if it is one fellow. We've seen how the Supreme Court cases have been sent there This election, this electoral G-Mensa was stonewalled for no question to be asked here. And it's the greatest disservice to this country. Why? Because we will never know what's happened in the 2020 elections. Because what happened is in the bosom of the electoral, the G-Mensa. As we said, no one can tell the exact results that were used to declare the president to become a president today. Once beaten, twice shy. And we are not running away from settings. We are calling on all of you as a media. We are calling on all the other political interest groups, including our friends here, including all political parties, including civil society, to demand accountability. And what is forensic audit? People's names, bring it, we'll look at it, we'll remove that, and say we are satisfied with it. Why should the Electoral Commission resist that? Is it a private document? We know, and all of us know here, we are not smart, we know how elections have turned other countries into a disaster, into chaotic situation, such a way that even now they've not known peace. We've come a long way. We cannot, an electoral commission that is infested with MPP people, to derail all our efforts. This morning we are talking a lot. This morning we have manifestos on all the political power we are talking. Those manifestos will come to nothing if the process to the elections are not free and fair. So for me, I think that there's enough evidence for the current electoral commission to sit up and reason well with all those who have raised issues against the compilation and the exhibition of the voter registers and the illegal transfer of names to areas. What is the interest that electoral officers in connivance with MPP apparatus will transfer names? What is the interest? What is the electoral officer? What is their interest? Today, as we said, the government said they are deploying security people to borders across this country. But the real deployment is not across the country. It's to Volta region to intimidate our people. That kind of, the one that they've sent to Upper East and what is a smoke screen. It's nothing. The real target is our brothers in the Volta. And they are doing that for a purpose. They have a well-rehearsed agenda to reduce our voter strongholds, and we are not going to sit and allow that. And all those security people involved in that should be ashamed and embarrassed. All those people who have been detailed to harass people, not to return or to put impediment on the way of people to have a smooth to and fro to do this election with your voter ID card properly captured in the voter register, should not be intimidated, or they should not use any untoward means to maneuver under any subterranean means to make sure that people are intimidated. We are not going to allow that. We are calling on all civil society organizations, the media, the political parties, the Franfranto group, and all other independent-minded people, and even within the West African sub-region, we know ECOWAS, the protocols leading to that and so on, including the embassies, to ensure that the Electoral Commission does the right thing to save this country from any unforeseen chaotic situation that we do not, because we have said it. No, unforeseen because we haven't got there. We are yet to get there, so let me be cautious. Let me, no, I know, I'm choosing my words very carefully. I'm choosing it carefully because we are yet to get to the unforeseen things. For the foreseen, we know them. I know what you are going to.
Because you have a lot of examples to fall back on.
Yes.
You know, the outcomes of some of these machinations. We know of Ayawasu Wesogon.
We know a lot.
So that's foreseeable.
I wanted to even end at Ayawasu Wesogon because my brother brought it. And the issue is that the difference is that the Ayawasu West tax that went there were state sponsored. The taxpayers' money was used to put on uniforms for them. And they said that they were using the Ayawasu West Wagon elections as a testing ground. All right. Taxpayers' money. You can fault. I agree with you that the violence and the killing did not start. But was it an organized thing, like we have taxpayers' money being used to intimidate, to inflict wounds and shoot down people?
All right.
AK-47 into buildings.
Thank you, Honorable Tim. And sometimes when you think about these things, it's actually very painful, that your own brother and your own sister, you look at them in their faces and you shoot at them. Because of what?
Yes. And the Speaker of Parliament, the Deputy Speaker, came and said that they were criminals.
Yeah, the fact is that because of, and I'm coming to you, but also even before we delve into that, there are so many issues that perhaps we need to look at in addressing this particular issue that I've raised. Independence and the impartiality in the electoral process is a very key aspect of whether or not
the
APC is going to conduct itself
what do you
in
have
a manner that will continue to, give the Ghanaian people confidence. We're also looking at the issue of gerrymandering, voter suppression and gerrymandering and things like that. Also, that we're going to ensure that there's proper participation in the process, and there will only be proper participation in the process if people feel that they will be protected, that their ballots will be protected, that there will not be a deliberate attempt to sort of take their power away from them, because the only power they wield is the thumb, and that they're going to use the thumb in this exercise to ensure that their will is met or is achieved. So let's look at that, because I think you wanted to respond to some of the things that he said, and then also go into. But I was actually coming to you, so yeah.
Yes. So just, but let me start from him. See, my brother, what we are saying is that in any academic conduct, the methodology is not at all the most important thing. The result is the most important thing. Let's use the common Ghanaian parlance. All die be die. Look, any kind of killing should be prevented. How the person is killed is immaterial. What matters is the killing of that person. Whether state-sponsored or party-sponsored or individual-sponsored, all kinds of killings should be avoided. That's exactly what I am talking about. And we should not at all. Look, these things are possible because, with all due respect, pardon my language, some people have decided to reduce themselves to useful idiots for useless idiots. Because it is useless to use killing as a means of electoral fortune. It's completely useless. So anybody who does that is a useless idiot. And if you submit yourself for that person to be used, then you become a useful idiot. So let's avoid being useful idiots for useless idiots. Thank you. All right. So your question, we can summarize the whole question to two phrases. One phrase of two words: participation and inclusion. Participating and inclusion are the fundamental objectives of every election. And the two are breached. The link between the two is the impartiality of the Electoral Commission. Your question is how we can ensure the Electoral Commission, the impartiality of the Electoral Commission. First of all, let me even say that for now, there is a greater perception that the EC is not fair to some political traditions. Yeah. There is a greater perception. And I'm choosing my words cautiously. Yes, my diction should be cautiously. You see, should be cautiously delivered, because I don't want anybody to accuse me of any partisan loyalty. Look, perception is a perception. I do not know whether that perception is true or not. I don't know. But the perception exists that the NDC does not, and you have just said it, that you don't trust the Electoral Commission. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. In fact, I blame the state, because the posturing of the Electoral Commission gives rise to such perceptions. Kwame, when we were here, when one card-bearing member of MPP was appointed to the Electoral Commission, we were here. You saw how some of us reacted. And I made it clear that in the interest of the government itself, such a person should not be appointed. Because the person could be very competent, very loyal to the state, but the moment you appoint him, people will not look at his competence, people will not look at his loyalty to the state, people will be looking at his loyalty to your party. And that alone neutralizes anything good about that person. So don't create that perception. We didn't succeed, and the perception has been created. You cannot fault those who do not have confidence in the Electoral Commission. It is unfortunate. I don't like that, because I don't like a situation where everybody also bastardizes relevant state institutions in the conduct of democratic elections. It's not right. It's also not right that we should all bastardize the Electoral Commission, the judiciary, because the judiciary is involved at a stage when electoral disputes arise. Definitely the judiciary will be involved. So if we all decide to be bastardizing all these relevant state institutions, then we are indeed bastardizing democracy, because they have roles to play. However, these institutions themselves should not give any opportunity for anybody to bastardize them. Right. So these people, the Electoral Commission, the way the Electoral Commissioner even relates to NDC, definitely they will have reasons to believe that she's not fair. But that is not the case, or that may not be the case. All we are saying is that the Electoral Commission itself should do everything possible to regain public confidence, so that at the end of the day, these elections in 2024 will be the true reflection of the will of the people. No one in this country should allow anybody to use any form of statistical gymnastics to divert or to change the will of the people.
Right.
No one.
Right.
In fact, we should do everything possible. Right. You see the announcement in 5 times. To be frank with you, that could be purely a matter of mathematical inability. That could be. But because of the way the Electoral Commissioner conducted itself before the elections, everybody, even non-NDC members, concluded that she had an agenda, a negative agenda. No, I'm telling you. Yes, yes, I'm telling you. For all you know, it might not be intentional. You understand?
The reverse could also be the case.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I choose my words cautiously. I say it might. Right? Might. I'm not saying it will not. It might not. Yeah. So I'm saying all these things to justify my argument that no iota of opportunity should be given to people to have certain perceptions.
Right.
Because if you do that, definitely no one can. Look, today there are people who are ready to face the police, to face the army, to face the, and they say it with impunity. They say it everywhere because they have reason to believe that we do not enjoy state policing. We are rather subjected to regime policing. So if you are in a situation of regime policing rather than state policing, well, how can you have confidence in the police? You will have to stand up. We talk of the deployment of the army to the borders. Conventionally, it is the responsibility, in fact, constitutional responsibility, exclusive responsibility of the army to protect our territorial integrity. No,
no, let him land.
Please, he doesn't even know what I'm going to say. Maybe what I'm going to say will be your interest. Please, let me finish.
But you're not here to say things that will please him.
Yes, but let me finish. Let me even finish. I'm saying that. You see, conventionally, that is the exclusive responsibility of the army.
Yeah.
All right. In fact, that is the responsibility of the army. But the way our army has been politicized, the way our army has been demonized, the perception is that whatever the army is deployed to do is highly political and will be in the interest of the ruling party. That perception should be avoided. Kwame, let me conclude by saying that let all Ghanaians agree to be patriotic rather than partisan.
Thank you very much. Look, splendid submissions. I'll come to you soon, but I need to also hear from our viewers.
That's very important.
It is important.
Very important.
Right, so let me just say a special good morning to Pastor David Agbenyo. Pastor David Agbenyo, popularly known as Campaign Manager 1 with the True Faith Church International. Good morning to you, Pastor David Agbenyo. You are watching us this morning, and thank you very much for watching us. This one also says the problem we have in the sophisticated is the sophisticated hypocrisy supported by complex theories by the elites and the neutral minds. How can you blame an opposition for an appointment of incompetent ministers Dr. Mazuko was bold to blame the NDC, but very careful with fear of blaming the government for appointing incompetent ministers. Who nominated those ministers? How can you blame a watchman but refuse to blame the thief? We don't pay the NDC with our taxes. Kipo Elijah Bakari from Savannah, Sola. Thank you very much. That's your opinion.
I defended NDC. I said NDC should not be solely blamed.
Now, let me
listen. I said NDC should not be solely blamed. Yeah. That we should be blamed as well.
Let me read this message. Ken William has sent us a message this morning. It says, "Good morning to you, KOD. It is obvious EC is bent on rigging the 8 for NPP." The election for NPP, I believe. We must rise up against any attempt to steal another mandate or subvert the will, just as they did in 2020 by the help of the vote rigging syndicate at EC. Election 2024 is not a mere election, but a liberation struggle against the slave masters and the looting brigade, who have become the biggest security threat to the nation. May God save us from the enemies of the state. Pawili, a citizen and not a spectator. Good morning to you, Lawyer Danso, and your panelists for the good work you're doing. The NDC should not be blamed entirely for these actions of the mess caused by this reckless MPP party. Ayibu, sent from Zebila. Thank you very much. This one also says, if around this table we all believe in the classic definition of democracy, then the overriding question is, can we truly at the same time endorse the disturbances of Kenya and Nigeria? Or there is a collective measure, i.e. the election and the almighty vote. Something very untoward sparked the Kenya violence, and we in Ghana must pray against tipping into that before making the obvious and necessary changes to our entire governance system. Address the 32-year-old constitution, an obvious one, for the sake of time, is the woefully wrong provision of a parliamentarian serving simultaneously in government. Let us use regular amendments to improve governance. KWAME, the Electoral Commission has no choice, given the abyss into which trust has sunk, but submit to international forensic audit. Not doing this can set us on the pathway to violence. Let us hope that the NDC and other players in the coming election do not opt out altogether. It will be a disaster. By the way, methodology is more important in research than results. You didn't add your name. Next time, please add your name. From my big brother, Professor Charles Kwame Sebeyadom. Oh, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for your message this morning. This one says, good morning. Yeah, Prof's message is spot on. Yes, Professor, actually. Professor, you may disagree. That's his opinion. Can you, that's opinion. What's the problem? We need to even call Prof after the show. Yeah, I told Prof that he should be appearing on the morning show. But Prof is more important. Prof is good. Yes. Good morning to you. Prof is in court with Stanbic Bank. Professor Yadom. So we have to call him after the show. Yes, Forum for Accountability. Accountable government. You are good to go. Yeah. Good morning to you, KOD. Good work done. And thank you very much. You know why I like my morning show? Because it is an intellectual discussion.
Of course.
You
speak freely.
You
can't speak your mind. I don't know that.
All right. Champion, good morning. Please, anytime I hear Solomon speaking and blaming NDC alone as an opposition party, I feel sad. Is NDC party the only party that is in opposition? How many parties do we have in Ghana now? And which of them supports NDC when they are demonstrating against his former party? We are Ghanaians, and they can also demonstrate if NDC is not doing what they want. From James in Kumasi. James is not smiling this morning. All right. Saraba K. James says that, my people, NDC with the first forensic audit kindly go to court. If the judges in court in their own wisdom back the EC again, then fine. The Almighty is the best judge. From James K. Saba. James, thank you very much for your message this morning. This one says, good morning to you, Pan-African TV. I am from Upper West Region, and I'm still waiting for the number I requested last week, Solo's number.
I will send it to him right now.
Solo, what's your number? Mention so that I will...
026 224 2297.
224.
026.
I've seen it. I've sent it to you. This one, people will start calling you. No. All right. Now, I have this message that I want to read before I come to Solo. This one says, good morning to you, KOD, and your panelists. I think the answer to your question is that the NPP always abuse power and even use the state institutions to intimidate the citizens. Many of our lawyers and judges are afraid to kick against the government for fear of losing their work. Ghana is now a country which many people are pitying. Francis from New Edibiase. Thank you, Francis. This one is from Secondary Research Council. When someone's leg is amputated, the person can still live. But if the head is chopped off, what will happen? NPP's head is cut off. Okay, the last part is not quite clear. Good morning to you people for your good work. Ghanaians need a visionary president, not family and friends president. JM all the way 2025. Okay, thank you. KOD, if deployment of the security is a constitutional mandate, why is the deployment also done in election year? Good morning to my role model, Kojo Chumbuafo, in Buridiba from Tamale South. All right, thank you very much. This one says, all the way, JM, NDC. All right, thank you. Good morning to you, Pan-African Television. Exceptional presentation by your super panelists, especially my role model, Dr. Marzuk. As for this current EC, I don't really think they have anything good to offer Ghanaians because their actions and inactions says it all. But we are discerning and will not allow them to destroy the country for us. The forensic audit, whether they like it or not, must happen. Bawa Swali from Tamale. And I'll come back to the messages, but let me come to Solo on this subject matter.
Enjoying the messages.
Oh, really? So I should read a little bit. Okay.
We are humble by.
This one says, Lawyer Kwame, as for peace in this election, we are afraid because of the way the EC is handling the issues. OWUSO was not the only place for the rehearsal. The speaker's election was also the very beginning. Abdul from Tamale sent in this one. Now, this one also says, Samuel Jabin, I think. He says, where is the message, cry? Why an independent forensic audit of voters register is necessary? Infractions in the voter registration exercise, such as illegal and criminal transfer outside the transfer window. This is a complete abuse of the authority of the EC. The independent forensic audit was carried out during Afarijan's era in 2016. Upon the request of the MPP. Why can't it be done now? The singular action by the EC obviously proves that the EC is in bed with the MPP. The truth is better. All right. Good morning to you, Champion KOD. We are not timid in any case, but let me tell you that Ghanaians, especially the youth, are still relying on certain hope for now. The youth are waiting patiently for all hopes to be lost. Then the bigger version of Kenya Confusion will be displayed without timidity. Moni Park from Bimbagu sent in this one. Now, this one also says, good morning to you, Pan-African Television. If government can police the borders, then it should police the water bodies. I agree with you, 100% agree with you. Now, good morning to you, Champion KOD. The elections we are about to have, it's like a football match between Chelsea and Manchester United, with Chelsea's coach, which Chelsea's coach doubles as a match official. Fairness cannot be guaranteed. Abu Hana, but I shrink when I hear some of these things. Because if you are saying that fairness cannot, then it means that if the EC, I'm saying, rigs the election and on behalf of the MPP, you will be comfortable because then you've already, I'm saying that if, yes, then because you already have acquiesced, sort of, you've admitted that, well, there's that possibility. So, anyway, now, okay, I've sent Solo's number to you already. Good morning to you, Pan-African Television. The problems we are having, we are currently facing is the cause of NDC MPs in Parliament. They are the ones who helped this government to implement some of the policies that is causing the ordinary Ghanaians. They were having the power, they had the power to stop some of the policies, but they failed. This one, Good morning to you, KOD. If deployment of the security is a constitutional mandate, why is the deployment also done in the... Okay, I think I've read your message already. You sent it again. This one says that, Kwame, good morning to you. You have to join the great movement for change. Also, you have to be hosted on these talks than hosting. Good morning to Solo. John from Nkotia South, Uti region. Okay, right. You want me to join? Yeah, he wants me to join Movement for Change. Good morning to you, Pan-African Television. Something got missing in the Electoral Commission, but you are not doing anything, only talking, which has never happened before. Wrong calculations of voters register. All right, thank you very much. So, look, the messages they're playing to you. Good morning to you, Kwame. The the host and your panelists, the NDC don't want the development of this country because they approved all the ministers, and they are now accusing them today. But it's possible Dr. Bawumia would actually win. All right, thank you. And you see, this guy's actually telling you something.
Yeah.
Now, this one says, good morning to you, KOD. In fact, the youth whose future is being destroyed have become cowards and polarized against each other by the NDC and the MPP. And we have become like toothless bulldogs, like the bite of Comoros Drago. We are watching our future destroyed right before our eyes, and we can't do anything about it. This is sad. Thomas from Ablekuma sent in this one. Solo.
Why will you end when it's sad?
It's sad.
Let me say that I appreciate the messages that have come from your viewers.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Truly African.
Hello there, a pleasant evening to you wherever you are joining us from. It's another
This country, as their bona fide property, they are not afraid of anyone. I've been in the MPP before, and I know the mindset of the MPP. And that is why this morning I started by accusing the National Democratic Congress. So those of you that were listening, that think that whatever we say is just for saying sake, you must better revise your notes. Because if the party respected, if the MPP government, and for that matter the president respected the opposition, it would never have even conceived the idea of doing the sort of things that they have done. And we have shown clearly. It tells you that some of us do not have any confidence in the president's ability to do what is right. And so our only salvation was for the opposition to act in a manner that will prevent, and that is why it's a checks and balance. The executive brings policies, parliament is supposed to okay or not okay it. So if you okay, that means you agree with the executive. And when we are complaining, why wouldn't I blame the opposition? Especially when the Ghanaian did that justice. 342,000 members of the Adventist Church, we are told, as far back as July of 2024, are to stay out of election 2024. Because election 2024 is going to fall on Saturday. And per the Adventist faith, per the Sabbath, the church is admonishing members to stay true to their belief. Now we are learning that some political parties, or a political party, is going around collating the names of Adventists so that there will be impersonation for those that will not vote because of their faith, for people to vote in their stead. This is where we have gotten to. That they don't even want to respect people's beliefs. Kwame DANSO is a member of the church, SDA Church. Kwame says, because of my belief, I'm not voting on the 7th of December 2024. They go and do ID card in the name of Kwame DANSO for someone to vote for Kwame DANSO. Then it counts. That is what we are dealing with. And that is why the appointment of Apiahene, a member of the MPP, into the Electoral Commission became problematic. You remember, as a former member of MPP, we fought against Ahmed Suleiman. Yes, we fought gravely against that. He was a member of the NDC, and under no circumstance, though he had not openly communicated for the NDC, we fought him. So when I hear people who are not consistent in their lives, it beats my imagination. You said yesterday was not good. Why is it that, look, me, when you bring certain topics here that I have defended the MPP on, I will never change my position.
Yeah.
Sure. Why would I change? Just because today I'm not with the party. If the policy is good, why not? I have said the free SHS is a good policy. They have to review it to make sure that all the bottlenecks are improve it.
Yes. No, but we've all admitted that. I've said it on this platform that free SHS is a good policy. I've said it.
So why would you know that yesterday, only yesterday, we were accusing the NDC that there was a member there who was affiliated to the NDC. But today, you say it's okay for Apiahene to be a commissioner at the Electoral Commission. Now, you are a lawyer, fortunately, and you know fraud vitiates everything.
Yeah.
So there should not even be discussions on this matter. That the Electoral Commission is a true Bosman Asari tells all of us that indeed there were 38 people that were transferred without their knowledge. The matter ends there. Once you yourself you have admitted, then it does not even lie in the mouth of opposition party or the movement for change or anybody to call you to bring the voter register for audit. This one is common sense. How can we be sure that this thing that took place in Tamale Central and Sanregu to Puziga is not replicated across the length and breadth of this country? Yep. How can we be sure?
Yep.
You understand? So clearly, to even reassure the people of this country that you are a neutral body, you will be the first institution to say that, look, because of what we have detected, it is better we do audit.
Yes. You should even suggest it to you.
A forensic audit of the register, so that immediately you will see that the Ghanaian will begin to have some level of confidence in you.
It's true.
This one is House of Finance and common sense. You don't need any big book to tell you this common sense. But who told Jane Mensah and Bosman Asare and all the commissioners that when there is any breakdown of law, they will go scot-free? Who told them? Who assured them that peace? They must be concerned. Anytime I see Jane Mensah, my heart bleeds. She is a woman. More soldiers follow her. I am never happy. Now, how did Ghana get to this point? That electoral commissioner is now being guided by who? What? No, it's not good for the image of this country. No, it's not good. And she herself, how does she feel? The last time I heard her, she agrees with me that it's not a good situation. So what is it that Afarijan, in the turbulent days of our democracy,
very turbulent,
was drinking beer with us at Hatu? That feeling, that you, at the time that we have had about 4 cycles of election or so, 8 cycles.
Who are you?
8 cycles.
Who am I?
Then soldiers are following you.
Who am I?
Hey, Obaje Nadoko, watch it all.
Anyway.
So what I'm saying is that she has to behave neutrally. The movement for change, Kwame, you are a lawyer. On this matter, I will go to the Supreme Court. I want to place an injunction on this whole election. Because you see, if we don't save this country, they would send us to a point of no return. You want to forcibly rig this election for the New Patriotic Party. When the New Patriotic Party knows, look, I'll give you 3 indicators to tell you that the New Patriotic Party knows it's going to opposition. Number 1, today, they are holding a rerun of the Wale elections, NPP parliamentary elections. Already it's bloody. Yesterday, blood all over, Wale. They have just macheting themselves.
No, they'll bring a picture.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, in this election, the runoff is between Dr. Kabiru, who is an economic advisor at the office of the vice president, and Zurera Larba, who is a sister to the vice president. Now tell me, can anybody convince me that to be an economic advisor at the office of the president, if you believe believed that Baumia is winning, and that when he wins, you will be an economic advisor at his office, and being an MP, which one is a powerful portfolio? If you believe as a sister to Dr. Baumia, who will then become a president, between being a sister and being so connected and going to parliament, which one is so powerful? The two of them are running to parliament because they know clearly all the national security reports are so straight to the point. That is why when I come here and speaking for Alan, I'm so confident of what we are sitting on, that Dr. Baumia will struggle to place 3rd in these elections. Take it from me. But then they have to secure themselves, go to parliament. The spokesperson to the vice president and the flag bearer of the MPP, Gideon Bwako, if he strongly believes that the vice president will become ultimately the president, being the spokesperson to the president, know what it means? Just opposing that one to parliamentary work. But quickly, Gideon Bokwe, he wants to run to parliament. Your own Samia Uku is so powerful in this administration. In fact, he's the one controlling the powers of the vice president now. He is running to parliament because he knows it's the end of the game. The other one was the communication director. You deny him. So close to the vice president. Wow. He is running. He wants to be in see. Well, this is yesterday. You know, during our internal primaries, one of the reasons why Alan said this is beyond MPP. This is now Nana People's Party. See how somebody's father has been injured, butchered left, right, center. This is the current state of the New Patriotic Party. And you want me to be associated with this? So the MPP knows, and at this stage they want to lose respectably. But I can assure them that Alan will come and correct the mess in the system.
All right, thank you. Good morning to KWAME, to your able panelists, more especially Mr. Solo. You can see that both MPP and NDC do not have any meaningful messages or plan for this country. They don't have the country at heart. It's time to break this duopolistic system. So let's rally behind Alan, who has a plan to transform this country from taxation to production. There is Galamsey going on about 5 kilometers from a police station in a certain town in Ghana. The Galamsey site is just by the roadside. Can you tell me the police have not seen it? The leaders have blinded the eyes of our security forces with money. We need independent leader to fight this Galamsey. This is Toyib from Tamale. You are getting a lot of support from Tamale lately. Oh.
Tamale is a stronghold.
Tell the SDA people that they should give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. This MPP party, led by another Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, have put a stop to feeding program for 3 years without cooking for innocent kids at Esutifi North District, especially Kenyase Mwoho Circuit. Bano Patrick, Esutifi North MP, is performing poorest from Ima, Gambia, number 2. Thank you. This one says, listen, let me add my contribution to the Galamsey menace. There should be a total ban and must apply the China style of death penalty on corporates and shoot on side policy to deter others thinking of going to side. But the politicians are themselves implicit and complicit. Do you think that they will
let me commend Joe OWUSO. You know, there was a time he said that when military people see Galamsey, shoot them. People didn't understand. Mm-hmm. This weekend, I went past Wase Kropon and Japan. When you see, it's an eyesore. And interesting, all the places that the Galamsey is taking place. It's some 10 meters from police barrier. All of it that I saw.
Charlie.
I
mean, I think the former director of the law school.
Yes.
Ansari says that President Akufo-Addo must be impeached because he
said he must be hanged for this.
He said he was going to put his presidency on the line.
Yeah. It was a charade. Yeah. It was a
impeach him. And
the man came to scam all of this. He has scammed all of us. Good morning, adults.
Good morning to you, KOD. In Volta region, there is a village called Kletofe, which has a population less than 900 people, but the voter register is 2,700.
Can you imagine? It's a Kletofe.
In the voter region.
Which constituency is that? If you had
if you are watching, please
add it.
Yeah. So his name is Kata from Tema.
Can you imagine?
Thank you, Kata, for your message. Fifi Ankra says, KOD, Dr. Mazug's neutrality makes him sometimes boring. You should try and listen to what is he afraid of. You should see.
He's a neutral person.
Sorry, for fire.
He should, as an independent person, he can only associate with the movement for change. We are only independent.
But let me take this opportunity to appeal to our viewers.
Yeah.
Anybody who expects me to come and bastardize NDC or MPP will be disappointed.
Yes. Thank you very much. Hi, Kwame. You are very right. The process leading to a research is more important than the outcome, which can be manipulated to get certain results, not the other way around. Just as free and fair elections cannot be achieved when the process is fraught with fraud. vote pardon, voter suppression, and gerrymandering in SAR, as we saw in 2020 when the results were counted several times against the law without going through the due process. Thank you for your message this morning. KOD, my bro Solomon is really the Solomon of the Bible. Zion from Kumasi sent in this one. Brilliant submissions by Solo Idrisu from Wa sent in this one. Good morning to you, Lawyer Danso, and your revered panelists. I totally support Solomon on the issue of going to court if EC refuses to audit the register. James from Chuchiliga, Supreme Court. Chuchiliga, I got it right. Okay, thank you.
Your first case.
No, let's talk after the show. We are going to court. A friend in the military tells me that his colleagues are rejecting peacekeeping operations in foreign countries because of the money they are benefiting at the Galamsey site. The military is now full of thieves. They are no more regimented. I feel like resigning. The fear is that some soldiers are ready to join the terrorists. Hey,
that's serious.
No, that's.
Hey.
Is he a military person?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. But that's why he didn't add his name.
No, but let's be careful with this.
Yes.
No, but what are you saying?
Yes.
What are you saying? Hey, Charlie.
And when you go to them, they
deny. EC has to be independent and free from party apparatchiks. This will bring peace in the long run. This one says, good morning to you, KOD. Good morning to you. Point of correction. Hajia Zuwera Lariba, former Minister of Gender, is not blood related to Dr. Bawumia. Even if there's a formula to link mankind to Adam and Eve, Hajia Zuwera Lariba and Bawumia will never meet. Good morning. Alidu sent in this one. What is happening now? What is happening now is very serious. Please, can I talk to you after the program?
That's his sister.
That's the sister.
You people.
Kabiru is in the office.
Good morning to you, KOD. NDC is coming live. Greetings to JDM and Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra. Gabriel from Ho West sent in this one. Look, today the message is plenty. Please, KOD, tell Solo I also need his number. It's very important. I am Brown.
Send it to him right
now. Number, okay, I have it. Solo, you get fans, so.
The movement is the movement.
It's the movement. You want to send the country.
Good morning to you, Lawyer KOD. I'm from Tamale requesting for Mr. Solo's number.
From Mano.
So give it to you.
So that the movement grows and we win this election and save this country. My other team will have a position that what is the problem?
You see, if we actually want to break the
we have to get an independent person.
We have to get it.
All these things we are crying over. It's because of NDC. It's your place.
Can I read my messages in peace? The viewers are as important as we people sitting here. Please let me read everything.
They are more important.
Good morning to you, KOD. My greetings to you and your panelists. Please tell Dr. Marzuki he's one of the people I admire in Ghana, and I would like to have his contact.
You have it. So give it to me. Look, let me tell you something. I'm not like so. I'm not a big person. I'm not an accomplished business person. I'm not a politician. So my number, I can give it all. I can
put it.
0244 755 402.
Again.
I have nothing to hide.
Again.
0244 755 402.
And on
nothing to hide.
On that Dr. Marzuki's number, I'd like to call. Draw the curtains on today's show. It's been absolutely revealing, inspiring, educative, informing, and above all, patriotic. Thank you.
Mashallah.
Dr. Marzuki, thank you. Honorable Tim, thank you, Solo, for your time this morning. But most importantly, a big thank you to the viewers for spending your morning with us and for, most importantly, sharing your thoughts with us on the subject matters we discussed here. My name is KWAME OWUSO DANSO Esquire. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thanks a lot. Salute.